Hello students, I welcome you all to this session on EMFT and wave propagation. So today in this video we are going to see the tutorial on EMFT and wave propagation, and I have already made some previous videos on the tutorial of unit 1 and unit 2 and one video also on the tutorial of the unit 3. So now before watching this video I recommend you to go through the previous videos. So I will be using some concepts here, and please watch the lecture videos also. Before watching this video you must know from where the formula is coming. Here I will be telling you how to apply a formula to any question, but you have to know on your own that from where the formula has came, what is the derivation of the formula. Okay, so don't get confused when I will be directly using the formula. If you get any confusion, go back to the lecture videos, see those videos, come back here. Okay, so now coming back to the first question, it states the normalized field pattern of an antenna is given by En is equal to sine theta sine phi. So En has the value for 0 less than equal to theta less than equal to pi, and 0 less than equal to phi less than equal to pi. The pattern is unidirectional, with maxima in y. So we have the maxima in the y direction. So let's understand how the pattern is. So if this is my z direction and this is my y direction, so this is how my pattern is. Okay, so now we need to find out here the directivity. So it's I skipped this in the question, so let's find out directivity in this question. So now directivity is given by 4 pi upon the beam area. Okay, so this is how my pattern is. Okay, so now I need to find out this 4 pi upon beam area for this question. Now for beam area I know what is my En. Okay, so I will be using the formula of En. So beam area is given as the integration of theta and phi. What is the integration limits of theta and phi? We know that it is 0 to pi and 0 to pi. Again I am saying I will be using the spherical coordinate system because the radiation patterns have spherical symmetry, and if you try to use any other coordinate system it will be very difficult for you to understand the beam area and to find out all of the parameters with respect to another coordinate system. So always use spherical coordinate system with the objects having spherical symmetry, like here the radiation pattern. So here we'll be having En and we'll be using sine theta, d theta, d phi. Okay, so sorry, this is Pn, which is the power multiplied with sine theta, d theta, d phi. We already used this formula in the previous video as well. And how we can find out the power? Power can be found out using En. So what is power? So it is 0 to pi limit. What is power? It is given as En square. So here I'll be having sine square theta, sine square phi multiplied with sine theta, d theta, d phi. Now I have to integrate it. So first I will be simplifying it. It is 0 to pi sine cube theta sine square phi d theta d phi. Now I have two limits and two integrations. So 0 to pi sine cube theta d theta and 0 to pi sine square phi d phi. Okay, so now I need to integrate these two terms. I know the formula of sine square theta. The formula of sine square theta is 1 minus cos 2 theta upon 2. So instead of sine square theta, if I replace it with 1 minus cos 2 theta, finding out its integration is really easy. Now sine cube theta will be equal to 3 sine theta This is sine 3 theta, which is equal to 3 sine theta minus 4 sine cube theta. So this is the next property. So from here I can find out what is sine cube theta. What will be the sine cube theta? It will be equal to, if I find out this, it will be equal to 3 sine theta minus sine 3 theta upon 4. So instead of sine cube theta, I will be replacing this value, and instead of sine square theta I will be putting 1 minus cos 2 theta upon 2. So when I put these two values here instead of sine cube theta and sine square theta, finding out its integration will be very easy, and I can find out, because here we don't have any power of sine or cos, so its integration you can easily find out now. And when you find out the integration, the beam area will be coming out to be 2 pi upon 3. So check this answer and find out the beam area. Okay, so now here if I put the value of beam area, so here the directivity will be equal to 4 pi upon 2 pi upon 3, which will be equal to 6. So here in this case we have directivity is equal to 6. Now coming to the next question. If you still have any of the doubt here in this question, because I left it for you as a homework to integrate this. What is the integration? Again I am telling you, we have integration from 0 to pi. Instead of sine cube theta I have to put 3 sine theta minus sine 3 theta upon 4 d theta, and instead of sine square phi I will be putting out 1 minus cos 2 phi upon 2 d phi. You can easily find out this integration, and this is your homework. Okay, so if you feel you are facing any problem, you can connect to me. So now here I will be discussing the next question. It states, calculate the directivity of an isotropic antenna. Okay, so what is isotropic antenna? I have discussed about the isotropic antenna in the lecture video itself. So what is the isotropic antenna? Isotropic antenna is any antenna which is radiating in 360-degree direction. So if I have any antenna, so let's suppose this is my antenna top and it is radiating in all of the direction, all of the possible direction present here. So this is an isotropic antenna. So I have to calculate the directivity. Directivity's formula is again 4 pi upon the beam area. So in this case, what will be the beam area? I told you it is radiating in the 360 direction. So whenever we have 360-degree direction, the beam area is 4 pi. Okay, so now I'll be putting the value of beam area. It is 4 pi. Now directivity will be equal to 1. So now I hope this thing is clear how I calculated the directivity. So now coming to the next question. The next question states, calculate the maximum effective aperture of an antenna which is operating at a wavelength of 2 meter and has a directivity of 100. So it's a really straightforward question. You just need to know the formula. So, and how you will get to know the formula? You have to see the lecture videos. So now here I need to find out the maximum effective aperture. So directivity is related to the aperture as 4 pi upon lambda square into aperture maximum. Okay, so this is the relationship between the directivity and the aperture. So now here I know what is wavelength, lambda is equal to 2, and I know what is directivity. Directivity is 100. So we'll be just putting the value of lambda and d in this question. So d is 100 is equal to 4 pi upon 2 square is 4 into AE max. Okay, so now here 4 and 4 will get cancelled out, and we'll be getting aperture area, which is the maximum aperture area, will be equal to 100 upon pi. So I hope now you understood this. It's the aperture area. What will be the unit? It will be in the meter square. Okay, so now coming to the next question, it states calculate the effective aperture of a microwave antenna which has a directivity of 900. Again, it is the similar type of question, but in this question we don't have the value of the lambda. So now what we'll be doing? So again, we need to find out the maximum effective aperture. Directivity is equal to 4 pi upon lambda square into maximum aperture. Now we will be putting the value of directivity. Directivity is 900 is equal to 4 pi upon lambda square AE max. Okay, so now in the terms of lambda, I will be finding out the aperture. So 900 upon 4 pi into lambda square is equal to AE max. So now you can easily solve this question. So here it will be, so 450 when divided by 2, I'll be having 225. Okay, so we have 225 lambda square upon pi is equal to AE max. Okay, so now if the directivity is given in the dB, you can convert it into the another form as well. So with the help of log base of 10, we can convert the units of directivity as well. So I will be stopping my discussion here. If you still have any doubt in any of the question, feel free to contact me and reach out to me anytime. I will be happy to help you. So I will be winding my session here. I hope you understood each and everything, and in the next video we will be coming up with the next fundamental parameter questions, and stay tuned for that video. I hope you will be joining me in the next session really soon. Thank you so much.